Hello and welcome to the channel. And for today's video, we're going to check out this quick custom that I did on the Takara Tomy Missing Link Convoy, aka Optimus Prime, that came out, I want to say, late 2023, early 2024. I did the review for this last year when I got it. And on that video, if you may recall, I mentioned something that I was hoping it was something that maybe that they could Takara could do with the Missing Link project, for every release that they would have. And one of the things that I mentioned was having different head sculpts for the different versions of the figure. Meaning, since Optimus Prime was released in two versions, one with the full trailer in the deco from the original G1 toy, and then the second version, which is the one that I have, in animation colors. And what I mentioned was that it would have been cool if for either version, but I guess it would have been more appropriate for the animation version to have a different head sculpt, because since the look of the figure is supposed to replicate the look from the animation, from the cartoon, the head sculpt that the figure has originally, although it's iconic and all of that, and it works perfectly fine for a cartoon look-alike. Obviously that's the basis for what they used for the animation, but it still had some updates to it. And so I thought, it would have been cool if for the animation version of the Missing Link, that they would have given the figure a different head sculpt, just to make it also a little more different from the toy version that they were selling, and help differentiate the two and set them apart, and probably even add even more collectability to the figures, since you wouldn't necessarily have the exact figure two times, right? One would have a different head sculpt, and it would set it apart from the other. And something that I would hope that it was something that they would go forward with for each release. So my idea for trying to update the Optimus Prime was, okay, well, I guess I'll just try and locate a head sculpt that would look good on the figure, that would look a little G1-ish, and also fit on the figure, mainly, right? So I want to say for the last couple of months, I've had a figure that I bought, and it was one of those oversized Transformers Authentics figures that they sell, for cheap, Walmart, Targets, and all of that. I bought it here at the local Walmart here in TJ. But you can find the figures also. I would assume that you would find them in like, I don't know if in dollar stores, but probably they sell them. I don't believe I ever saw them in like Targets or Walmart, the Authentics line. You can probably find those in like pharmacies and thrift stores and the like. So anyway, I found an Optimus Prime figure that was around the same size as the slightly bigger than the G1 toy, and it had a head sculpt that I thought looked pretty cool and could pass for a G1 style Optimus Prime head. And as you can see, it is the head sculpt that is currently on the figure right now. Okay, so as you can see here, we got a little bit closer at the head sculpt, and let me see if I can get even closer. Here we go. And you can see it's not a bad, you can get a better idea. It's a pretty good head sculpt that I thought when I saw it, I thought, yeah, it could work as a G1, version of the Optimus from the cartoon. It hits all the right marks. It has the smaller eyes as compared, and we'll do a comparison with the original head that comes with the figure. It has the little shorter, stumpy ears and all of that. That being said, I did still have to do some modification on the head to make it fit for transformation purposes, which I'll show you in a second. And and I also had to repaint it, and I only repainted the gray since it was silver originally on the toy. So I just repainted everything silver to gray so that it would match the flat colors of the animation, right? Which is the colors of this toy. Um, but yeah, I thought the head sculpt was pretty cool. I mean, it hits all the right marks. I am able to turn it, and I'll explain how you should not remove the head that comes with the figure, because it was a hassle to do it the way that I did it. So let me just put this guy up here on the side. So here we have the original head sculpt that comes with the figure, the classic vintage Optimus Prime head, and you can see there's some bruising, you could say, right here, some the plastic, how it's stressed right here by the horn and here by the ear. And that's just looking at it from the front, but if we look at it on the side, now you're going to see the trouble that I went through to make this custom possible. So I thought that this head sculpt was like most modern Transformers, that there are two pieces that are glued together and held together with some little tabs, and that would be easy to pry apart. But in actuality, no. It's almost all solid plastic that is fused together in two parts, right? Because there is a seam, but it's basically two parts that are fused together. The point is that this head sculpt was fused together, and it's almost all solid plastic. Here's the... Can you pause? Okay, the head sculpt is almost all solid plastic, except for here at the bottom where there's a swivel for the head to be able to turn it to the sides. I glued this back together, so maybe I can spread it apart, because I only put dabs of super glue. Let me see if I can split it apart so I can show you how this is from the inside. No, it's sealed shut. But anyway, it's pretty solid. But anyway, here is how the head sculpt, how the head is held in place on the figure. So what I had to do, or what I recommend that you do if you're planning something similar like what I did, and try and do a head swap on the Missing Link, underneath the rub symbol, you can see some stress mark here on the side. That's not that, well, I mean, it had to do trying to pry out the head, but with some heat you can remove that stress, the stress on the plastic. But anyway, what you need to do a clean removal of the head, of the standard head, underneath the rub symbol, we have a pin, a flat head pin. So traditionally, what you would need to do to remove anything that is attached through via a pin, if you have a soldering iron, you would apply heat directly to the flat head of the pin, and then as the pin heats up, the portion where the pin is inserted, in this case inserted right there, right, the plastic around the pin would heat up, and as you wiggle it around, it would allow you to safely remove the part from the pin, which would then reveal this. So this is the portion of the underneath the flap. And there you can see the other end of the pin, which is, let's see if I can get it a little closer. You can see right there, okay? So what I recommend if you're trying to do this head swap is definitely carefully with an X-Acto knife, preferably one that has like a flat like a chisel flat edge, and then underneath, remove gently, place it underneath the rub symbol, and try and remove the rub symbol without damaging the glue too much. And then and then if you remove too much underneath the rub symbol, it's going to ruin the effect for the heat of the effect of the showing the Autobot or Decepticon symbol or whatever. You know how this works. So be careful not to scratch anything on the other side of the face of the rub symbol. So you need to remove that, apply heat to the flat head of the pin, and as the pin heats up, slowly wiggle the head off until it's removed, because otherwise you're going to be left with this mess if you go my route. I don't mind that. I mean, obviously, I would have preferred that I didn't have to damage the head, and I would have discovered the pin later or before. I would have done I do have a soldering iron and all of that, so I would have done that trick beforehand. But anyway, so yeah, if you want to attempt to do a head swap and conserve the original head, use the soldering iron, heat up the pin, and then pop off the head. Now, in order to get this head to fit perfectly on the Missing Link figure, this head is on the Authentics figure is just held by a ball joint, so it's easy to pop off. And this head sculpt is all plastic, but it's softer plastic. This is a little harder. The original head sculpt is harder plastic. This is much softer, but pretty much the idea of how this head and this head are put together is the same. Like I was saying, it's two halves fused together, right? So if you were to try to slice this head in half, you probably get better results than this, because again, this is harder plastic. But anyway, but yeah, you can easily pop off this head from the figure, and you can see at the bottom it looks a little rough. That's because I had to sand down some of the at the bottom of the head sculpt so that it would get room for the transformation into truck mode. And I also had to sand off a little bit here at the top of the crest. There's a part here that you can see how it is curved. The part here at the front of the crest peaks upwards and then peaks downwards a little bit. So I had to flatten all of this a little bit more. And still, I had to modify the figure itself here on the back. You can see I had to trim off. I haven't smoothed this out, but I wanted to show you guys what you need to do to do this. So I trimmed off part of the seats that are from the cab, and then open up this gap a little bit wider on the back, so that because this head sculpt is slightly larger than or wider than the standard head sculpt, and it's a little bit longer as well. So in order to fit everything nicely, like I said, I had to trim off the top and the bottom. And this head sculpt I used, even though it's still a good snug fit without any modifying here in the area where the ball joint plugs in, I still added some nail polish to thicken up the area around the hole, so that it would be. You saw me how I was struggling to remove the head sculpt from the stump, so that this could be a snug fit. All right, I can hold it up from the head, and the figure won't plop, So, but anyway, in order to do this transformation, all you have to do is turn the head backwards. The crest will hit just slightly at the bottom. You can see how much I had to shave down there at the bottom, but it clears. And you can see also how much wide the area that I cut off at the sides. I probably can still afford to trim a little bit more here at the side on the red. But on this side, I cut it off pretty neatly. But you can see that the flap here rests perfectly flush at the top. So when going into truck mode, we still have an even top. Yeah. So there you go. Now this obviously this mod is not for everyone, of course. Probably some of you may be thinking, why did I do this on the Missing Link and maybe not on, because I do have the KO of the G1, and I thought about trying it on the G1 as well. However, let me show you. Okay, so on this is the KO of the G1 toy that I bought from Shozi a couple years ago. Anyway, if you turn the flap around, you'll see there is no visible pin underneath here. There was actually a rub symbol already placed, I believe, or I put it. I don't remember. I think the rub symbol already came on this figure. You get a separate one in the package as well, but the rub symbol comes already placed on the flap. So when I removed it, I came to see that there was no pin like on the Missing Link, because you actually see the head of the pin on the Missing Link right here. So obviously I don't know how this is attached, and I didn't want to crank it or break something and not be able to reattach the head. So I thought I would rather preserve this one and modify the Missing Link. My other option was either put the head sculpt on, put it on the Missing Link or on the 40th anniversary that came out last year, which again has the animation colors, and it's even more close than the Missing Link, since that one has the white legs, and the red is not as is a shade lighter than on the Missing Link. And I could have gone with that version, but the Missing Link, since it has the enhanced articulation and all of that, I thought it would be a better fit on the Missing Link. However, I also considered getting the KO of the Missing Link that released a few months ago, but that's the KO is the version with the trailer in the toy colors. And I thought, okay, I could wait for a KO of the version of the animation colors, and use the head on that instead of maybe potentially ruining the original. But I thought, we're already here. I already have it. It's something that I really wanted originally for the Missing Link, to have a different head. So I said, might as well do it. Again, the only problem was that I had to, kind of ruin the original head. If I could have figured out how to remove it without having to cut it and slice it in half, I would still have the options of going back and forth between the original head and then the replacement, or the more G1 style head sculpt, G1 animation type head sculpt, I should say, because again, this is the G1, the real true G1, right? Funny thing is that the part for the eyes and the mask, all of this is a separate piece. You can see, so that you can actually remove this part, and you're left with the part of the helmet and the cheek protectors, I guess you could say. And then the part that swivels is also a separate piece. But then all of the rest of the head, the back of the head and everything is like solid plastic. I probably should have waited after recording the video to glue the head sculpt so I could show you how it is. But the important part is to tell you guys how to remove it without having to resort to damaging it, right? So yeah, there you go. Let me know, what do you guys think? Do you think that is the head sculpt, was it worth it? Do you think I ruined it? And if I did ruin it, well, hopefully they do release a KO of the animation color Missing Link in the future, and then I can get that one for cheaper and use that head sculpt of that one to replace this one, and we can go back and forth. But anyway, what's done is done, and Oh yeah, and if anybody watching is is handy with 3D printing and all of that, I'm still looking for someone that is that could reach out to me. I'm really interested in creating these fillers, these side fillers, to simulate the that little waist area that Optimus Prime has, like in the animation. You know, feel free to contact me, and we'll see what we can do. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you in the next one.